what do you do? And tell me about yourself are the most common questions asked in an interview. How to answer these questions in an interesting way that the person listening to your answer would always remember you that, I met this person who was like incredible. In short, how to make people remember you. So I was in a flight from Turkey to Berlin and I met this awesome gentleman who was sitting next to me and we started to have conversation. I don't know when we will be able to do that again, either to go in a flight or sitting next to someone. But coming back to my story, I was having conversation with him and I described what I do, how I do it, why I do it. As soon as the plane landed, he gave me his card and asked me to come to his office. If I want to stay more in Berlin, he would be happy to accommodate me. He would be happy to give me a job. He has not seen my resume or CV. We're just having conversation. So how to be an effective communicator when the question is, what do you do? And tell me about yourself. So let's say, for example, if someone asks you, what do you do? Or tell me about yourself. The first thing you reply is, oh, I'm a banker. I'm a financial analyst. I'm an engineer. Or I'm a scientist. It's correct, but is it interesting? That's the question. Networking is the most important factor in getting a job these days. But you need to make very effective conversation with the people you are networking with. So let me give an example of how I reply to the questions, what do you do? Or tell me about yourself. So I start with, I make people's life easier. So when they hear that, they ask how? Or what do you mean by that? So the question starts to come in. When you are having a monologue that, oh, I'm this, I've been to this university, I'm doing this, you are speaking. Not the questions are not coming from their side. And after 7 seconds, the person who is listening to you starts to wander off here and there, and they're not listening to you. But when they're asking questions, they are listening to you. And then they ask like, how? Or what do you mean by making people's life easier? And then I reply that I'm trying to find solutions for energy generation from the indoor lighting, and can be flexible as well. So if you have a backpack or you're sitting in there, the light is on already. But you can charge your mobile with that just because the light is already on. So then we start to have a conversation that, is it possible? Is it like, what kind of solar cells are that? Is there a market for that? So these kind of questions start to arrive. Depending on who am I talking to, I will formulate my answer in a way that they can be more interesting. They can ask more questions. I will give them loose ends. They can ask more questions. And it helps me a lot. So what's the formula for this? The formula is start with why. And interestingly, this is a book by Simon Sinek. I advise you to read this book. If you're a scientist, you are in a marketing position, or you are in a sales position, I would advise you to read this book. In this book, he has researched all the great leaders and how they talked with their heart. They never started with the what, how, and why. The great leaders started with why, how, and what. He terms it as a golden circle or communication. So I would advise you to read this book. So tell me in the comment section below that how do you respond to these questions? What do you do? And tell me about yourself. How do you formulate it? What, how, and why? Or why, how, or what? So don't forget to give me your feedback in the comment section. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Be happy and enjoy the surprises of life.